What's up, guys? Welcome to It's Nick D channel. Today we're going to be talking about like old school trader stories. Reece and I have been trading together for over 5 years. He left his job. When did you leave your job?
About 2016.
16, yeah. About the same time I left my job, and initially we were trading cryptocurrency. That's the market we started in. And today we're just going to be talking about questions. So like basically I'm going to ask him a question. He doesn't know what I'm going to ask him, but we're going to go over it and we're just going to get into the depths of the mistakes that we used to make. And then we're going to give you guys some guidance on, how we got out of that place and move to the next level. So first question for Reece, what is the biggest misconception of a trader?
I think the biggest misconception would be trying to make money overnight, right?
Yeah.
Trying to get rich. You can jump into the market and make $1 million.
Doesn't work like that.
It doesn't work like that, right? You got to put in the hard work. I think the biggest thing to get over that is you got to commit to it. Put in your goals, write it down, look at it every single night, and know that it's a real career that you can make out of.
Yeah, not just some like get rich quick thing. Yeah, and 100%. Like I guess when I started out, I was like that too, but.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because, sorry, I've got to use the mic. So back in the day, like me and Reece used to trade crypto, and we used to have a lot of crypto back then because we got into the market pretty early. I think I got into Bitcoin at like 2,500.
Yeah,
or something.
it was cheap.
It was cheap. So when we got in, we had no risk management. Our technical analysis was very simple. What do you reckon? What was your strategy back then?
To be honest, it wasn't really much of a strategy. It was more just literally trading off support, resistance, breaking trends.
The baby pit stuff.
Yeah, exactly. You can get on any YouTube video.
Yeah.
It's what happens when you start out. But at that time, with that type of technical analysis, you think you're a successful trader.
Yeah, 100%.
And you think you're gonna make a lot of money with it, but yeah, it's
over time you start realizing it just the support breaks.
Yeah, exactly.
The resistance breaks.
Exactly.
Question: what's your biggest loss you've ever taken?
Oh, this is a goodie. So, as Nick was saying, trading back in the day, cryptocurrency, there was a platform called BitMEX. And we've had a few.
We've had a few of those.
Yeah, so BitMEX, you could trade up to 100x leverage. And this was a few years ago. So
that means you can trade, if you had one Bitcoin, you could leverage up to 100 Bitcoins at that time.
Yeah, it's intense. Obviously back then, I didn't have much risk management, probably nothing at all, to be honest. And so we jumped on BitMEX. You could make a shitload of money.
Yeah.
I jumped in with half a Bitcoin at 100x without a stop loss, right? So we entered the trade, and we started getting a little woozy, started drinking.
Yeah, we were going to go to a nightclub called Scary Canary in Sydney. If you're from Sydney, you'll know it.
Yeah,
there was a wet t-shirt competition going on, and I think Lockie, he's over here in the office. I think he was actually there with us. Anyway, go on.
Yeah. Anyway, so before that happened, right? We placed a trade of half Bitcoin up to 100x. We thought, all right, we're gonna go long here. Unfortunately, we started getting on the drinks, a few whiskeys deep, and forgot about the whole trade because after we started drinking, we went off to Scary Canary. It was a good night.
until you woke up in the morning.
Until we woke up with a hangover and liquidated my whole account. So
guys, that's half of Bitcoin he lost. What do you reckon it was then? Like 10,000?
Yeah, about 10K.
So you lost about 5K in liquidation. But like the upside potential was massive.
Oh, it was massive. That's all I was looking at.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem.
Yeah, with no risk management, I was only looking at the upside, not the downside. So
especially with 100x, like your stop would have been like 0.5% less.
Yeah, exactly.
Way less.
And
Yeah.
So I didn't really know what stop losses or risk management was back in the day, especially using leverage, man. It's scary stuff. So, I'm thankful to this day right now. I've implemented a risk management strategy that protects my account.
Oh god, shoot me a question, bro. What do you reckon?
Yeah. What do you think to become a successful trader as a beginner? What do you have to focus on?
The first thing you need is a little bit of capital. Do you know what I mean? Everyone comes into the market with like $200, $300, and if you're following a proper risk management strategy at 1 to 3%, you're not going to ever get profitable like that, because the thing is, with $300 capital at 1% risk, it's $3 risk. So your reward, a maximum upside is like $9. You know what I mean? That's at like 6 to 1, 3 to 1. So number one, you need capital. Number two, you need to actually understand how price action moves. You don't want to worry about any fundamentals, I feel. So I'm a technical trader. I look at the chart, and because that's the raw emotions on the chart. You know what I mean? When the fundamental news comes out, you never know who gets the inside information, who's already taken their positions, and the institutions don't move like that. They base it off, you know, where liquidity is in the market. So number two, you need a strategy to actually find trades, and then thirdly, a trading plan, dude. Because if you had a trading plan on that trade, you would have had it in your trading plan. Do not enter a trade if you're drinking.
Exactly.
Do not.
And that's in my trading plan now.
Yeah, yeah. Nah, exactly. But on the flip side, like, I just want to talk about a misconception, like you said earlier. You know, people look at, like, you know, me and you. You've got tattoos. You play footy. You know, I'm just an everyday guy, and like I've got no finance background. They say, how can you become a trader? So guys, if you're out there, you don't need to have a finance background at all. I know people who have done uni degrees for 5-6 years and they can't break down a financial chart. Do you know what I mean? So what would you say, like, if someone's out there and they're like, oh, I'm just an everyday guy, I want to get into trading, but it seems too mathematical and stuff.
Yeah. Well, look, what I would say is that, like, anything that you put your mind to, you'll be able to achieve, right?
Yeah.
And trading isn't any different. So if you want to make this a lifestyle or want to take it serious, you just got to commit to it.
Yeah.
You know, it's commit to anything. As I said earlier, like, you know, wake up in the morning, put in your goals, look at it every single day, visualize how you'll be able to become a successful trader, and just commit to it. Like your daily chores every single day. You don't need to be on Wall Street. You don't need to have a suit. You don't need to have millions. Yeah. Guys, so sorry about that. Reece's mic cut out, but we're back here. I was going to ask you a question, man. How much capital? Let's say you're a person who has a consistent strategy. Okay, month on month, your equity curve is growing. How much would you need to say, okay, I'm quitting my job now and I want to go full time? Full time as in that's all they do. Yeah. Look, to be honest, probably comfortably about 20 to 30K. Yeah. More on the 30K side. Yeah. Because if you look at it like this, if you know you're below that mark at like $10,000 for example, and you're doing a 3 to 1 trade at 9%, it's only $900. Yeah. But again, that's plenty of money. So if you're tripling that at a 30K account that's size, big. It's like 2,000 trade. Yeah, exactly. It's 2,000 trade. Exactly right. Yeah, you got to work backwards with the numbers. I was going to ask you, man. You've already spoken about your biggest loss, which is BitMEX. Biggest win lately, most recent, yeah. Yeah. So you all know that I trade cryptocurrency. I've been trading Link at the moment on leverage. So my biggest win at the moment was I took a long with Link. My account size was about 20K in the trade. Took a long with 10X and made about 50% on that trade. That's insane. Yeah, it was a massive trade for me. What about you? What's your biggest win at the moment, do you think? So on the crypto, we'll talk about crypto and then I'll go into the Forex win. So crypto would be the barber story. I think I've told you before, but I was at a barber shop and I was long. I forget what it was. It was one of the crappy altcoins, but I had like 2 BTC margin on it and it just flew, dude. It just flew. I think like maybe a news announcement came out or something. I got really lucky on it. And I was in the barber chair and I showed the boys like, how much did you just make? And I was like, I think I made like 2 to 3 Bitcoin just then. And that's when Bitcoin was like, I think like 15, 16,000. Yeah, so it was like a 40,000 trade. But on the Forex side, you know how I love trading gold. Guys, if you're out there and you're trading Forex, gold is the best, but you got to be careful on risk management. I think I took like a 10 or 20 lot short, made like a little bit over 35,000 US. So that's one of my biggest trades lately. I've done so many, but here's the thing, like I've taken losses early on like you. And it's how you claw back from those losses and put things in a trading plan. So that's a good thing we'll talk about with the audience is a trading plan. What do you need in the trading plan and how do you have yours set out? Yeah, so my trading plan, it's pretty simple. I have rules that I follow and basically, so for example, I'll have, if I'm in a trade and I'm going to enter a trade, I have 4 or 5 rules set out before I enter that trade. Like technical based rules. Exactly. Yeah. So the rules would be based on technical analysis, the state of mind that I'm in, my emotions, and the type of environment I'm in. So if I'm not in the right environment where I'm not at my desk or my laptop and I'm trading off my phone, I won't enter the trade. and if the technicals don't line up, then I won't enter the trade. So everything has to line up before I do enter that trade. What about you?
Yeah, I break it down to like 3 regions. Number 1 is your technical rules, like you said. So what am I actually looking at on the chart? You know, is there confluence? Am I trading in an uptrend? If I'm in an uptrend, the market structure is bullish, I'm only taking longs. Do you know what I mean? You know, I'm only entering on deep pullbacks in liquidity zones and you know, those big demand zones or supply zones. I'm not looking at taking trades in the 50% zone. Rules like that. And then secondly would be my risk parameters. So for example, if I lose 6% in a day, because I risk 3% at the moment on my entire capital each trade, and I've based that off my win rate. Okay, so you can't just go out there and say I'm going to risk 5%, because if your win rate isn't sufficient enough to control that risk, then you're not going to be profitable. So if I lose 3% risk trades in a row, I'll stop trading for the day. So my maximum loss for the day can always be 6%. And then I have the psychological and emotional side, like you said, you know, not trading when you're drinking, not on the phone, not in the car while you're pumping music, stuff like that. You know what I mean? I want to talk. So go on, bro.
They're crucial, right? And I guess, you know, you're talking about liquidity zones and that. So obviously you started out, you know, on the basics, the fundamentals, support, resistance. You know, what was the pivot point where you went from basic to the most advanced type of trading?
Because like when I got to the Forex market, I trade that full time now, and I've got an education company, as you all know. But like I used to, back in the day when I was doing crypto, you know, the market was always bullish, so you could always make money. You know, anyone can do well in a bull market. Even people who don't know how to break down charts can make money. So when I started trading with Jason Redman, he's a PT now. He'll be watching this as well. He was getting into traders like ICT, Trader Dante, Tom Dante, and London. You know, Sam Seiden, supply and demand. These sort of traders that I listened to for hours and hours and hours. They started, you know, talking a little bit more about, you know, institutional order flow, you know, imbalances in the market, you know, stop hunts, stop raids, so things like this that I used to see, and I was like, okay, how come when I'm entering on support, and this is me as a beginner, how come when I'm entering on support, you know, it's smashing through that level and then coming up to collect liquidity and stopping everyone out? Do you know what I mean? And now I understand that because the institutions run the market in Forex. You know, 5% of the market is retail like us, and then 95% of the market is institutional banks who are literally just preying on people who have tight stops and are entering in the wrong position in the market. You know what I mean?
And you see that all the time with beginners. Like they'll enter a trade, they'll buy the breakout, and then they get stopped out or come straight back down, right?
Yeah, it'll pull back to like a 75th or something deep, and then it will push up for the next leg.
Exactly.
And another big mistake that beginners are making in Forex and crypto, any market, is, you know, they'll look at like the short-term market structure. Like let's just say they're going like a 15 or a 1 hour, but they're not going out to the 4 hour or daily and looking at the overall bias. Because you can be in an uptrend in the 15-minute or 1 hour, but the 4 hour is about to come into a lower high, and you just get crushed.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's where a lot of beginners get confused, right? They're not actually looking at the big time frame and getting the overall bias of the market.
Yeah.
And they're just trading the short term.
100%.
Yeah, 100%.
Like you now, obviously, so Reece now works for Onyx Forex. He's our senior head coach around the world. When you're speaking to people in my group, and you know the beginners who are starting out, because we've got a lot of successful traders in the group, but when you're speaking to the beginners who just start, what are the biggest problems you're seeing? What are they telling you that they're facing?
Yeah, like the biggest ones would be they don't know where to actually find an entry point in the market, right? Yeah, and that's it. It's all execution, right? Because you can have all the theory behind you, but if you're not executing on it, then you're not going to become profitable, or you're not going to find the right trades. So, you know, finding entries based on, you know, technical analysis is the biggest one at the moment. And majority of the time, they show me their chart and they're trying to enter in the middle of a ranging market.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it just
there's
doesn't
there's no risk to reward.
It doesn't even make sense. It's a one-to-one trade.
Yeah, 100%. Like guys, if you're out there and you're trading Forex at the moment and you're not getting consistent, there's a big misconception that, you know, it's going to take years and years to do it. When I wasn't consistent, and you can probably vouch, like it was only a few changes that I had to make, because the market isn't that complicated. Like as soon as you start looking at the smart money concepts and, you know, not doing what every 90% of other traders are doing, because they all lose money. Do you know what I mean? And like, it's not all about technical analysis. There is a lot to do with risk management, active risk management, money management in terms of your actual portfolio, and then psychology and trading plan. Like you said, like you can't enter a trade without knowing exactly what you're getting in, where you're getting out, where your stop level is, and what your risk is. You know, you can be the best technical analyst in the world, but if you don't know risk management and psychology, you're not going to be good.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. What do you think, I guess, you know, because you're at a stage in your career at the moment where you've been able to live off it comfortably. You know, what type of trade setups do you take now?
Yeah. So like the way I'll start my trade out is I always look at the higher time frame bias first. Okay, so I'll look at the daily or the weekly. I'll try to find those big supply and demand zones that haven't been mitigated yet by the institutions. By mitigated, I mean once they break an even low or even high level, and they come back to obviously stop traders out, have they mitigated that level? So I'm looking at that. If I find a massive demand zone, you know, I'm looking at that on the shorter time frames. I'm really waiting for the market to dwindle down, liquidity to thin, and then I'm looking for a strong move off that level. Because like, you know, a lot of people have their support and resistance marked out, but you know, once the level gets there, it consolidates on it, and that's not a strong move. That's not telling me that the market is there ready to like push this higher. You know what I mean? That's actually telling me, that's showing me a sign of weakness in the market, that buyers and sellers are actually fighting over this fair value here. So, you know, I'll start on higher time frames, go daily 4 hour, mark out my key levels, my supply demand, and I always want to find imbalances in the market. So big voids that haven't built structure, and I want to see those get filled and then make a leg lower or leg higher based on what the overall market structure is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. That's perfect. And I guess if you could say something to a beginner watching this right now, what would the key take be out of this for them to progress and become a successful trader?
There's two things. Number one, you can either go my route, which was mostly self-taught, but I've had a few mentors over the years, obviously, which is, you know, hours and hours and hours of YouTube videos. Watching the right people is crucial. You know, not going out there and watching people who are just like saying they've got a 90% win rate or making 100,000 a day. They're lying to you, okay? You know, even at my level, I haven't made 100,000 in one day off a trade. Do you know what I mean? And then secondly is you need to find a mentor or someone. You got to pay for education if you don't want to go that first route. And that's not me being biased because we run the education, but we get people results and we show them the right way to do things. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not saying I've perfected it. You know, I'm still learning every day as a trader. I still take losses, but overall, month to month, I'm consistent because I've got the risk management, I've got the trading plan, and I know the setups I'm looking at. You know what I mean? Yeah, but we'll wrap this up. But just say any last words to whoever you want to speak to or beginners.
Yeah, like thanks for watching. I hope we gave you some value. And you know, if anything that you can take from this is that, you know, anyone can trade. Anyone can learn to trade, right? Even if you don't know how to use a computer, you know, you've got no degree, like anyone can do it as long as you put your mind to it.
100%. And we'll do this more often. We'll do another episode. Thank you so much, guys. I'll speak to you soon.
See you later.